Good day. How are you guys? I'm not sure who is finished with school for this year and who is still. I know Liam, you're still busy. Luan, you finished. Um, I spoke to Johan Hendrik just now, and he said that you guys just had a session, played a game. So, and it's going well with you. You have a view over the canal. And I just wanted to say, remember one thing, eh? When you sit on the toilet and your stomach rumble, they can hear it on the other side because of the flat surface. It's not like the river where, you have uneven water surface. This surface is like a mirror. And anything you do this side, people can hear on the other side. If you put down a cup on your stoop outside, people are going to hear it that side. And when you say, Aina, they will hear you that side or whatever. So you guys have to be careful. It's not going to be so simple, eh? Anyway, we are busy with, we spoke about Saul, King Saul, who was the first king, remember? And we spoke about the relationship between Saul and David, who was the anointed king, but was too young. And he had to wait until the king died, until God decided it's time for him to be king. So now in this chapter, we're going to talk about the beginning of David's reign as the king over Israel. So Saul now is dead. So remember, Saul tried to kill David many times. He chased him all around the country and really tried very hard to kill him. David had a few opportunities to kill him, but David said, he is an anointed king by God. I cannot touch him. Whereas Saul, on the other hand, wanted to kill David. So now it's David's turn to reign over Israel. So after King Saul died, David asked the Lord which city in Judah he should go to. And the Lord directed him to Hebron. In Hebron, the people of Judah anointed David as their king. Meanwhile, Abner, the commander of Saul's army, appointed Saul's son, Ishbosheth, as the king over the rest of Israel. That was in Mahanaim. This led to a civil war between David's army, led by Joab, and Ishbosheth and his supporters. So there was a war. And this conflict ended only after Joab killed Abner. So following this, Ishbosheth was also murdered by his two officers, and subsequently all the tribes of Israel came to David, and he was anointed king over the entire nation. So there was a split at one point, the north and the south being Judah, and the north all the other tribes of Israel. And now under David, they were combined again. So David reigned in Hebron for 7.5 years before he became king over all of Israel. So it took 7.5 years since he was anointed by Judah until the rest of Israel came to him and said, we want you to be our king. And they anointed him king over the rest of Israel. So now, David desired a new capital city to symbolize that he was the king of all the people, all of Israel, and not only the tribe of Judah. And he chose, guess, Jerusalem. Particularly the fortress of Zion, which was occupied by the Jebusites. So David had now to get them out of there. So he successfully conquered the stronghold. Joab was rewarded because he was the main kingpin in the army, and he was the first to enter the fortress, and he was promoted to army commander. David lived then in this fortress and built his palace there. So it was just like a city with walls around it, more in the shape of a fortress, and not necessarily to live in. And now David would make this his city where he will live, and I'm sure he will build inside the walls. He will let people live as well. He completely drove out the Philistines, who had previously held him captive. With evident help from God, David defeated the Philistines in 2 very large battles, and effectively breaking their control over Israel. So he chased them out of the country. Now, David then prepared to bring the Ark of Covenant, which was housed, remember, in Kiryat Yarim. He wanted to bring the Ark of God, of Covenant, into the city where he rules from. They transported the Ark on a new cart. But when the oxen stumbled, Uzzah, one of the drivers, reached out and touched the Ark. He wanted to prevent the Ark from falling. And when he touched it, something sacred, the Ark was seen as very sacred. It was in the holiest of the holies. And only the high priest went in there once a year, because it was seen as being the embodiment of God. And the Lord there and then struck him dead. David became very frightened by this event, which made him decide against bringing the ark directly into Jerusalem, and instead it was placed in the home of Obed-Edom. He was a Levite. Remember, the Levites were the people who would look after the God's tent of the ark and the tent of bijeenkoms, the tent where they gathered to praise God. So that tent, they were in charge of everything that happened around the matters pertaining to the high priest. David eventually brought the ark back into Jerusalem and placed it inside a tent. King David enthusiastically celebrated with his people, dancing and rejoicing all round, because now the ark, God's presence, was in the city where he reigned from. However, his wife, Michal, the daughter of Saul, despised David for his actions. She didn't like the fact that he was dancing, when they brought the ark in. He was basically dancing naked in front of this whole entourage of Israelites. And he was so happy, and she despised that. She hated that. So that is how David's reign started, how he moved from being the king of Judah and then became the king of the whole of Israel, the 12 tribes, and how he moved to the city of Jerusalem, where he would now reign from, and to build his palace there. So we'll see next time how this evolves, and it's quite an interesting piece of history that we will discuss. For now, that's it. Sleep tight, and remember, if you snore too loud, the guys on the other side are going to hear you and send you a note. Okay? Sleep tight, and remember, open home, I love you too. And God willing, we will talk again tomorrow. All right? Sleep tight. Love you too. Ciao.